These 6 pro defensive tips will have you playing defense like a pro with shutdown pass coverage, elite defense, and secret strategies that I guarantee will win you more games. These tips have helped thousands of players win more games, so now it's your turn. Let's get into it. Now for tip number 1, we're gonna go over how we can defend comeback routes. Now comeback routes are really good, just like you see right there. They beat man or zone. So that was against a zone, and I'll show you that again. So right here, this is a cover 3 zone. And we're just going to put a comeback on the outside. And we're going to snap this ball, and you're going to see that this comeback can be thrown just like that when the wide receiver breaks back to the outside and down. So now let's go to man coverage. So let's go to cover 2 man. And even against cover 2 man, comebacks still do a really decent job of beating man coverage just like that. So then that leaves the question, how can we defend comebacks? I know a lot of people have a hard time defending them, so I'm going to show you one zone that completely gets rid of that route. Now the zone that I'm talking about is a cloud flat. So I have a cloud flat on the left side of my screen right here, right? And then I'm going to put the comeback on that outside wide receiver once again, and you're going to see that the cloud flat is going to stay underneath that comeback, and we're going to get a pick just like that. Let's do that again. Let's get a little bit more of a cleaner rep. So once again, I'm going to have that comeback on the left side. I'm going to put that cloud flat on the right side, and I'll show you how to put that cloud flat on your player. Right after this, I just want to show you that cloud flat again, and you're going to see the cloud flat stays right underneath, and he's able to make that play. Now, how can we put cloud flats on the field? Well, the simple answer is to go to a cover 2 zone defense in the play call screen. So right here, we could go to Tampa 2. Then we're going to click on Tampa 2. We're just going to call whatever offensive play. And you're going to see that in Tampa 2, cloud flats are already on the field. Now, in a cover 2, if you want your yellow zones, those curls, to play underneath, you could shade underneath by pressing wire triangle and down on the right stick. And then you're going to also see that the cloud flats will turn into hard flats. Now, if you want to then put those corners back on cloud flats, what you have to do is double tap wire triangle, click on that cornerback's icon, then go down with the left stick to re-cloud flat that player. So now you see that we have a cloud flat again on that left side. And once again, you're going to see that the cloud flat is going to end up playing that comeback route, and you just can't throw that. That is an easy pick. So cloud flats completely destroy comeback routes. Hey guys, if you want more pro tips and full game plans guaranteed to help you win more games and improve, check out playbookprofessor.gg and use the code RZR30 for 30% off. At playbookprofessor.gg, myself and other top creators and players teach schemes, concepts, and strategies that you can apply instantly or apply to your own playing style to win more games. 97% of members said they've won more games since joining, so if you want to join the community, the link is at the top of the description, and remember, use code RZR30 for 30% off. Now, back to the video. For tip number 2, I'm going to be talking about a mistake that a lot of people do when they're running man coverage. So right there, I was running a cover 0 blitz. And you're going to see that with this cover 0 blitz, I'm going to be sending 5 out on offense. And since we're sending 6 people, we should be able to get one person in completely free. But not if we do this one mistake with our man defense. So with my man defense, I am not playing press coverage. I'm backed off. And I'm going to shade down by pressing wire triangle and then down with the right stick. And you're going to see that because of that, now we have a wide open touchdown to our offense. Now, why is that? It's all because we're shading down our man coverage when we're not pressing. So I'm going to go to the instant replay here, and I want you to watch what happens. Because I shade underneath when I'm playing backed off man coverage, our defenders will actually take one step in and not kind of just stay where they are or back up like if we were to shade over the top. They're going to defend the underneath, and they're going to let streaks go right by them just like this. We have 2 players right here wide open. So I see a lot of players when they play man coverage shade underneath when they're backed off, and that is not good because this is what will happen. The wide receivers will just run right by them for an easy touchdown. So if you make that mistake, it's probably because you're just not you didn't know that you can't shade underneath when you're backed off. Now, there is a difference if we were to press our defense, right, and shade underneath, we're going to get a press animation. So they're going to press our receivers. Now, again, if you don't have very good press corners, then they're still going to get beat. But if you do shade your coverage underneath, you want to be sure that you're pressing your defense, because they will actually jam the receivers at the line. Like, for instance, this corner right here literally pretty much pressed him to hell. Like, this is a really good press animation, especially if you're sending a cover zero blitz. He's not even in a route. Now here, this is Devontae Adams. Like, I don't expect anyone to press Devontae Adams. But so yeah, if you want to shade underneath your man defense, be sure that you're pressing and you're not backed off with your man coverage, because you'll let up easy touchdowns. For tip number 3, we're gonna talk about how we can guard drags and really any underneath route a lot better. And it's super, super simple. And what we're gonna do is shade underneath. So right here, I'm not shading at all. I'm just going to run cover 2 stock. And you're gonna see that this drag by the tight end on the left side of your screen is gonna get wide open underneath, just like that. Literally can just snap the ball and give it to him right away. But watch what happens when I shade underneath. So what I'm gonna do is press wired triangle and then down on the right stick. This is gonna tell our yellow zones to play at a 5-yard depth. So right here, I'm gonna snap the ball and you're gonna see that now that drag is covered and he gets lit up. So you're gonna see a huge difference here. When I go to the instant replay, you're gonna see that a shaded down yellow zones will play at the 5-yard depth, just like you see here. We're at the 30-yard line. They're all playing at the 30 or the 25-yard line now. And you see that they are covering this drag really, really well. Now this goes for like returns too. I know a lot of people struggle with guarding returns. And when we shade underneath with these yellow zones, you're gonna see that the return is not gonna be able to be thrown. And right here, we play that return really well and we get an interception. So now what about zig routes? So zigs are really popular. So let's put a zig on our inside trips receiver. And on the right side where that zig is, we have a cloud flat and a curl that's not shaded yet. But what we're gonna do is shade underneath. We're gonna press wired triangle and then down on the right stick. So now we have this curl zone and a hard flat on the right side. These together will defend zigs extremely well. The curl is gonna guard the zig early, and then the hard flat is gonna guard the zig late. So I'm gonna snap this ball, and you're gonna see that we can't throw it early, and we also can't throw it late. And if we do, we're just gonna get tackled right away, or most likely it's going to be an incompletion unless you get a weird animation like that. So when I go to the instant replay, you're gonna see once again that a shaded down curl will guard the zig early, and then late, the hard flat will be there, and he will light the zig up. So the moral of the story is, if you wanna guard underneath routes like drags, zigs, returns, even slants, what you want to do is shade underneath by pressing wire triangle and down on the right stick, and that will put any of your yellow zones at 5 yards. For tip number 4, I'm going to be talking about how we can better stop the run so we don't lose to these guys just spamming run plays and are getting easy yards. Now, when you're facing somebody who's running the ball a lot, one of the best things you can do is move the safeties into the box so you have more players in position to stop the run. And then what I like to do is user the safety on the running back side. And then once they snap the ball, I'm just gonna try to swoop in and disrupt the run. And sometimes we're gonna be able to shoot the gap. So I'm on random run plays on offense here. Again, I'm using the safety on the side of the running back. And one thing that's also important, you don't really wanna be close to the O-line. You wanna be 5 to 8 yards back, because if you're too close to the O-line, you're gonna get picked up right away and they're gonna have easy gaps to run through. But if you stand about 5 to 8 yards back, you're gonna see that the offensive line doesn't really account for you. You're gonna be able to shoot gaps just like that. And right there, they ran a reverse. Of course they did. So let me do that again, and hopefully they don't run a reverse here so I can showcase this. So again, moving the safeties in, I'm gonna be on the side of the running back, and then they're going to run the ball here. And again, I'm not really gonna be accounted for, and I am going to swoop around, and right here, we get the edge, and we get that easy little stop there. So again, what you want to do when you're facing somebody that's running a lot and you're not stopping them very well, you can move the safeties close to the linebackers, which is in the box. Then you're going to user the safety. Now, if they're under center, obviously you don't know what side the running back is going to be going to for the run. So that's when we're just going to stand right in the middle of the formation, right over the running back. Again, 5 to 8 yards back. Then when they snap the ball, we can try to read where they're going, and then we can try to shoot the gap. Right there, I missed a tackle, but it's hard with 2 controllers. But you saw I was able to shoot the gap, and we can be there to disrupt the play. Now, it's also important to know that, like, what if they run a play action, right? So, like, what if they are, in this type of formation? It doesn't even have to be a play action. What if you think there's going to be a run and then they actually pass the ball? Well, super easy thing that you can do is switch stick back down to your linebacker. So let's say we think that a run is going to happen here. Well, if we notice it's going to be a pass at the snap, we can go flick the right stick down, and now we're back to the linebacker, and we can play coverage underneath. So you don't need to stay on this safety. You could, once again, switch stick. So again, if they are going to pass the ball, let's say we're ready for the run, Oh, they're passing. Oh, okay, then I'll just switch stick back down, and now we're playing just normal coverage with our linebacker. So key points, when you're facing the run, move your safeties into the box, user one of the safeties, and then swoop around with your user and stop the run. That's the best way to stop the run. It does really well most of the time, unless you miss a tackle, but moving the safeties into the box, using a safety and getting more people to stop the run is essential when you're facing heavy runners. For tip number 5, we're gonna go over how we can stop one of the best routes in the game, which is the curl route. The simple route, the curl. It is so good this year against man or zone, and what people do is usually put one of the receivers on a curl, then they stem it up one or two times. And the great thing about these curls is that it gets underneath hook curls or yellow zone, so the linebackers, and then underneath deep blue zone. So once again, you're gonna see here that this curl route is just gonna sit into a spot that's wide open, and they are incredibly hard to guard. And I'll show you them versus man. Like, if you don't use these on offense, I beg you, start using curl routes that are stemmed up. So here, we're gonna go to man defense, right? We'll just, go to cover 2. And if we put a curl route on the field and stem it up one time with the D-pad, you're gonna see that even against man defense, once you throw it on the break, it's wide open, right there. Just an easy dot. So we're gonna go over how we can stop these, because you could lose games pretty much just because of a curl route. Now for me, what I like to do and what I think is the best thing to do when you're facing curl routes, you're gonna give up curl routes in a game. It's just gonna happen. They're so good. If you're playing a really good player, at some point you will be giving up curl routes, but you need to know when they are likely to run a curl route. So on 4th and 10, 4th and long, 3rd and long, that's when people a lot of the time run curl routes. So let's just say now it's 3rd and 10, right? And what I'm gonna do here is think about what formation they're in. So right now they're in a trips formation. Usually in a trips formation, they're gonna run a curl route by their inside trips receiver. So with that in mind, I want to be sure that I have a zone that could defend a curl route within that area. So what I might do is come out in a cover 3 or cover 4, and I'm going to put my hook curl on a zone drop that is within that area of the curl. So we can either go to zone drops in the coaching menu, which I'll show you, or we can custom zone stem that curl. Or that hook curl. So what I'm going to do here is double tap right on the D-pad, then I'm going to select my linebacker, which is X. Then I'm going to hold LB or L1, and I'm going to press the D-pad up one time. Now you see that hook curl is now playing at about 15 yards, right where a curl route would be ran. So I'm going to snap the ball, and you're going to see that the hook curl is going to stay under that curl route, and we're going to be able to make a play on the ball, and hopefully he'll actually get a pick there instead of swatting it. But you're going to see that the hook curl, because we custom stemmed him up about 5 to 10 yards, you're going to see that he stays right in front of him, and he's able to make a play. Now, again, we don't need to custom stem a zone. We can go to our zone drops, and we could put our hooks on 10 yards, 15 yards, whatever you think the curl is going to be at. So in this case, let's say it's 4th and 15, we would put the hooks on 15. And the way I got to those adjustments, I've just pressed the right stick in the play call menu, then I scrolled down to hooks and then put them on 15. And you're gonna see, once again, so I'm gonna set up pretty much that same play. And we have our hooks at 15, and you're gonna see that the hook curl is going to play the curl route just like that. Again, should be a pick, but it's not, but you see he is in position to make a play on the ball. For this next tip, I'm gonna be going over a super advanced switch sticking strategy that will just enhance your defense to get more stops. So if you don't know already, real quickly, quick tutorial, if you want to switch stick, you need to be on a player in a coverage assignment, and then all you have to do is flick the right stick in the direction of the player that you want to go to, just like this. So if I wanna go right there, like to the left, I can switch stick to the left, and you saw it right there. I switched stick to pretty much everybody in the secondary. Now, for this advanced tip that I'm gonna show you, I like to call it the man up switch. So we're going to be using a linebacker here, And just based off of who we think is going to be running like the opponent's main read, which is usually going to be, corner routes, crossers, we're going to man up our user to the potential corner or crosser. So in this type of formation, a lot of people run this play here, Y sail, and they love throwing it to the corner route. Now what I'm going to do here is man up my user to that corner route, which is the tight end. I'm going to do that by pressing A or X. Then I'm going to go up on the right stick and then press the tight end's icon, which is A. So you see the play art, now I'm manned up to the tight end. So what we're going to do here, as soon as the ball is snapped, we're going to run with the tight end a little bit. And then when we see him run a corner or a crosser, we're going to then run with him for just a couple yards. Then we're going to switch stick back to this hook curl with the right stick, and we're going to user the middle of the field. And then what happens is our original user is going to continue following the tight end and play lockdown man coverage. So let me show you this. I'm actually going to QB spy my D lineman so we don't get any sheds. And I'm going to snap this ball. So right here, I see there's going to be a corner. I run with the corner, then I switch stick down, and now I'm guarding the middle of the field. So let me go to the instant replay real fast so I can show you that man up. So the reason that man up is so good, after we switch stick, you're going to see that since we're already running with the tight end on that corner, he's just staying with him the whole time. So that's locked down. Now we switch stick off of him, and now we can guard the middle of the field and guard any digs or drags coming across the middle. So we are locking down one of the best routes in the game, the corner route, with, we're just using it. And then we switch stick off of him once we realize, okay, we have that bag, we can switch stick off of him. Then we can lurk other areas, and we're bagging a very good play. So again, what we do here is we man up our user to whoever we think is going to be on the corner or crosser. And then once we see that corner, we're going to run with him a little bit. Then we're going to go back down with the switch stick, and we're going to lurk the middle of the field. This can be done in so many different ways. So let me show you a post, right? So let's say they run something like this, right? And again, we're going to man up the tight end because usually, people like throwing to the tight end. So what we're going to do is we're going to run with the tight end. He's running a post. So now I'm going to switch stick back down, and now I'm guarding the middle of the field, and that man coverage was still very sticky on that post. So again, we're with the tight end. The tight end's running a post. We run with him for a couple yards. Then we switch stick off. He still stays with very tight coverage on him after we switch stick. Then we switch stick to the middle of the field to that hook curl with the right stick, and we lurk the middle of the field. This is one super simple way that you can start bagging so many different route combos. Now, another cool thing you can do with this is man up the running back if the running back is killing you in coverage. A lot of people like putting the running back on wheels and then maybe just doing something like this. And if you man up the running back here, you realize that the running back's going into a route. You can run a little bit towards the running back and then switch stick again back to this linebacker here on the hook curl to guard other routes. So once again, we are going to snap the ball. We see the running back's on a route. We're going to switch stick. Now we're guarding that post, and everything is guarded. So once again, this man switch stick strategy is just really, really good. So you're going to see here in this instant replay, we see that the running back is on the wheel. We run a little bit towards the wheel route, then we switch stick off of him. That wheel route is completely bagged by the man coverage. Then we switch stick back to the middle of the field and we guard a post.